Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sandeep Madaan. I am Anatomy Educator at DAMS, one of the renowned institute, and we have been working in this field since last 27 years. Since 1999 we are working, and we have been helping thousands of students, and here we are today in the Asian International University. The student who has been working hard for since last 5 and 6 years, something like that, right? So I will suggest all the FMGE students to start preparing.
Why is it still important for a student to talk to a real teacher? Okay, you have helped thousands of students pass this hard exam. Why did you choose to become a teacher instead of working full-time in a hospital?
I'll say, teaching is my passion. And if you do what you like, then it is not mechanically that you are doing, right? If you are passionate about it. So I'm passionate about teaching and I'm passionate about human anatomy. So I chose that subject and I try my level best to impart knowledge in a, an easy way and, in concise manner and in conceptual manner. So that is what I'm trying to do.
Many people think FMGE is just a test you need to pass. You treat it like a main course. How do you see your job as a teacher today?
See, I'll say that exam will be done on one day, right? But to prepare for that one day exam, it is the student who has been working hard for since last 5 and 6 years, something like that, right? So to prepare for that one day exam, even though that exam will be conducted in one day, but the preparation is not for one day. So it's a main course where the student should have a strong foundation, conceptual understanding, and clinical integration. That's how you have to face it.
What is the biggest mistake Indian students who study abroad make when they start new classes?
What I have observed, I won't say all, but many students in the initial years, when they join, maybe they are not well aware. And because of that, or maybe some other reason, I don't know, but I have observed that sometimes in the initial part, they lose the time, which is very precious. And when they start preparing, almost, some part of the, that degree period is already over. So they could have utilized that period well in advance if proper guidance was there. So I will suggest all the FMG students to start preparing early because, early preparation will keep you safe in this tough, exam period.
Now that you are here at AIU, what do you think about the campus and the hospital facilities?
I'll say this is a very infrastructure-wise very good infrastructure I have observed, and particularly when I visited the simulation center, it is one of a kind because I have seen other centers also, but the facilities which are here are one of the top class, I must say, and the provisions have been made for the students to visit the centers at any time, particularly when they can correlate with the theory. And the teachers are available. That's again a plus point because sometimes the students are going and doing on their own. But here the teachers are available who accompany the students. So that is a very good thing. They are understanding under a proper guidance. And particularly I must say that Dean sir here is, so he's very proactive in taking care of the students. So that is again, this university is, it's his asset. Right. So I have observed these things which are available here. That makes it a little bit, different from others.
How are the students here? Do they seem hardworking and ready to learn?
Yeah, particularly this batch that I have taken, and I have really have enjoyed because the students are. It's not like I am delivering the lecture. They are keen to learn. They're asking their doubts, and we are having kind of discussions. And certain areas they are going in depth, which is quite unusual. Compared with some other batches. Okay, in some of the batches I have seen very good students, but some of the batches not, because I said some students they start late, but this particular batch students are very good, and I can assure you they are going to do very well in future.
What do you think about the teachers faculty here and how they help students prepare for India?
I think the teachers are well competent here, and I have met a couple of teachers, and I have the little bit interaction with them based on how is the curriculum and how are the teaching hours, how is the teaching pattern, And I have visited the anatomy lab as my subject is human anatomy, so I have visited that anatomy lab, and I've seen the museum. So all the facilities which are available here along with the proper guidance of the local teachers also. So they are in good hands, I must say, and they are not only helping them to prepare for the university, but yes, they are imparting knowledge so that they can make a strong base. Along with that, when dams comes into the picture, like it was our responsibility to bridge that gap, because the students here are preparing mainly for the university exam. But yes, we want to bridge that gap so that they must know the basic foundation conceptually, and also along with that they should be prepared for the next exam. That next exam, I mean the FMG exam, right? Because eventually when they go back to India, they have to write this exam and they have to pass this exam. Only after that they will be registered, right? Yeah. So that is we can say. So we are working in collaboration. The local teachers are doing their own work, and together with us it makes a complete picture.
Yeah. If you were a student, what do you like most about the environment here for studying?
I must say, it's the facilities which have been provided are very good. Okay, and at the same times, the teachers are kind of they are monitoring the students. It is not that we are on our own. Someone is there. Someone senior is there to guide us. Yeah. Someone senior is going to take care of us, right? Even starting with the dean sir, even the head of the international studies, Krishna sir, and vice dean ma'am. I have interacted with those faculties, and that is very good thing about it. And also the library and all the facilities which have been provided. I must say, if a student is sincere enough, he will develop very good skills over here. Along with the medical knowledge, with the good skills, he is going to do very well in future.
The syllabus here is very big. How do you teach students to choose what is important and what they can skip?
Yeah, this is something of our expertise because as I said, since 1999 we have been our institute is working, and since last decade we are also working in the field, and over a period of time that we have developed this expertise to choose the topics based on. It's not at will. It is based on the high yield topics from the previous year exams, because we keep on analyzing. Whenever FMG exam is conducted, whenever the NEET PG exam is conducted, or the INA exam is conducted, we prepare their recall based discussions, and also we analyze the questions. And not only the questions, we also try to analyze the pattern, that if the examiner is asking this way, so maybe the next projection they can ask this question in future. So that is how we have come up with this particular program, that this is the high yield areas, which are the common areas from where most likely the question will be asked. So that is how we are choosing, and that is how we are helping students to choose the topics which are more important and which are to be focused on, and a little less emphasis on the other areas, because the time is limited, right? That is how we do it.
The exam is changing from short fact to long clinical cases. How do you change your teaching to match this?
Yeah, that is one of the very big things which I have observed over a couple of years. Now the pattern is changed, right? Even though in India there is an exam proposed called as NEXT, that is going to be the National Exit Test, that is going to be a clinically integrated competency-based exam. Even though the NEXT has been already declared, it is not into the, right now it's not, they are not taking that exam. Even though the exam name is still FMG and the NEET, but the pattern is changing. Now the pattern is changing from, earlier they used to ask, more of one-liners, okay? But now the one-liners are very less in proportion, but they are more focusing on the clinically integrated areas, which I believe is actually good for the students. Because those students who are really good in the clinical scenarios, it is, the picture is given like as if you are sitting in your clinic. A patient comes to you with such clinical presentation. As a doctor, how you are going to evaluate the patient? So basic theme is that, okay? So for example, in my subject, they won't be asking direct question. Like for example, instead of asking mandibular nerve passes from which foramen, they will frame a question where the patient has come to you who is having difficulty in mastication, and on examination jaw is deviated. So idea is, this is a clinical scenario, and as a doctor I must understand this is because of the mandibular nerve. So that has to be integrated, and that is how we are evolving our lectures.
For students who studied abroad, what is the hardest thing they have to forget to pass the Indian exam?
Maybe some of the students, they are with the some, I will say, they have developed some notions which are already developed before they start with the real subjects. For example, some may be having these notions that okay, this subject is for mugging up. Some will be afraid even without without even testing, they will be afraid. So I'll say ki all these whatever they have, this pre notions are there, they should be forget about. And they should, when they start preparing and they want to really assess, once they have done a little bit of the preparation, they start testing themselves by writing the different exams. One of the example, they may write GT, grand test, subject wise test, or something like that. When they write GT, particularly grand test, they will come to know that I am scoring good in these subjects and I'm scoring less in these subjects. On that basis, they can evaluate and they can assess, these are the subjects which I am really weak and I have to work on them really hard. So this is how they can utilize this, one of the strategies.
Only a small number of students pass the FMGE. Is this because of the teaching abroad, or is the exam just too hard on purpose?
I must say it is neither fitting with either of the choices, because the student studying abroad doesn't mean that he is not studying, and doesn't mean that teachers are not teaching. Okay, so that is not the real answer to this question, and there can be multiple factors behind this. So it is not easy to comment in a single line that why this less percentage of the FMG pass percentage. Overall, it can be less pass percentage, but we at DAMS, if you check the pass percentage of how many students were enrolled with the DAMS and how many they have passed. So we have delivered in a last you check the year-wise score, then you come to know we have a very good strike rate in those pass percentage. But yes, overall pass percentage in the FMJ exam is less. Yes, I do agree, but there is not a single answer to this. It's a multifactorial, and but so far as DAMS is delivering good, so I'm part of Team DAMS, so I'm happy about it. And students, they really want to excel, they can come and join us.
Everyone is worried about the new next exam. Is studying for FMG and next the same thing?
Not exactly, but yes, as I was mentioning, the national exit test, that is the next next exam. It might be there in future because the government has proposed, right? When exactly it is going to be there, I don't know, because the notification is not there. But whenever it comes, it is not equivalent to FMG. It has many aspects of it. For example, next will be not only applicable to the foreign medical graduates, it will be also applicable to the Indian medical graduates. Okay, so those Indian students who are studying in Indian universities right now, when they pass final year exam, okay, then we are entitled to write the doctor as a prefix, and we will be enrolled in the internship program. That is a compulsory 1-year rotatory internship. But after this next exam comes, right, even to get the MBBS degree, this is not a a competitive exam. It will be a qualifying exam also, because to get that doctor prefix, you have to pass the national exit test exam also. The next exam will be applicable to both. So FMGs will also have to write, IMGs will also have to write the same exam. Okay, and it is going to be competency based and clinically integrated knowledge. And rest of the details are yet to come, and we are also waiting for that.
We have many apps and videos today. Why is it still important for a student to talk to a real teacher?
I believe the apps and videos are there, yes, but those apps and videos, they can be, any student can utilize them for maybe for practice or something, to learn some of the things. But when they have some doubts, maybe, or they could not understand some of the points what the teacher was trying to explain, now there is not a possibility to ask them again or to ask in some other words. Okay, so if we are having the live lecture face to face, right, as you said, so at that time, if students is not understanding, then I might try to make them understand. I will give 2-3 different examples. In some of the examples, they will understand, okay, oh, this is the point what teacher was trying to expect, right? So but the problem here is only app based, only recorded lectures with no live support. That is, I think, will be not compared to the live interaction, because live two-way interaction is always, and it is just like we have AI. Okay, even though AI is there, but still, like we will not allow AI to do the surgeries. There will be doctors required to do the surgeries. AI can help, and exactly in a similar manner, apps can help, but they can't replace the classroom teaching, right?
Yeah. If you could change one thing about how foreign graduates get licensed in India, what would it be?
For that part, there are sometimes it has been observed in some parts of India that when the students pass the exam, after that immediately they don't get the chance to start the internship. They have to wait for it. Okay, so I don't know what are the reasons behind it. Maybe the administrative reasons or what else. But if at all I am given the chance, I will try to reduce that waiting period so that student doesn't have to wait too long for starting the internship. That will help them, right? But otherwise, I'll suggest the students, because that is in the hands of the rule makers. What we can do as common citizens, looking for the, not for the, we shouldn't be problem oriented, we should be solution oriented. So till the time it comes, students should utilize that time period for preparing for the NEET exam, because next they have to write that NEET exam anyway, right? So that is what I will suggest them to do in the waiting period, and as soon as they get the chance, they should start their internship, right? Yeah.